Hi, everybody. Welcome to another presentation, little webinar by yours truly, Daniel West. Let me start my presentation here. All right, cool. So, first of all, happy Friday. Um, I'm glad that you decided to spend some small part of it with me here at AuctionMethod. I'm Daniel West, the co-founder, one of the co-founders, and the vice president of sales here at AuctionMethod. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that is near and dear to pretty much every human being on the planet. Maybe not dear, people love it or hate it, but we're talking about AI, artificial intelligence. And in particular, we're talking about AuctionMethod's approach to AI integration, um, and our vision for the future for how this is all going to work. So, uh, without further ado, I think we should just jump right into it. So, one thing I want to point out is that we are, at the end of this session, I'll be happy to take questions from you. You can drop them into the Q&A section of Zoom, and I will do my best to answer the questions after the webinar is over. So, as everybody knows, this AI landscape is moving really, really fast. It's my opinion that there is no human being on the planet, even those in charge of these AI companies, that actually can understand what's happening and what's shifting. It's so fast and furious. We've never seen anything quite like this. Um, and along with that comes a rise in all kinds of auction technologies. It used to be that AuctionMethod was one of a handful of companies and that were servicing the needs of auctioneers. But every day, pretty much, I see a new startup that is promising to deliver uh, bigger and better solutions for auctioneers. I don't even have time to check them all out. That's how fast they're coming in. I hope some of them are good and useful. And Yeah, I don't really have much to say about the rising auction technologies, except that there are many. And there's also a lot of affiliated functionality, other sort of businesses besides just the provisioning of auction platforms and auction management solutions. There seems to be a proliferation of all kinds of assistant tools as well. And so we're gonna tackle that as well. In fact, that's a primary point being made here in this webinar. So one of the most important sort of things that we want to make sure happens, here at AuctionMethod is that we don't fall into the trap of becoming too rigid and too fixed in terms of the implementation of technology. As things are moving so quickly and changing all the time, we want to stay flexible, and adapt to this new technology and help our customers do the same. So what we're talking about today are basically three things, right? So on the one hand, the primary sort of initiative that I want to discuss is our API service layer. Um, for those who are not super technical, API stands for Application Programming Interface. I believe that's what it stands for anyway. The basic idea is it's how different software applications communicate with one another. Um, and so that API service layer is what would allow for an auction engine to be delivered that is open and available to be used for more than just what you have used or experienced within the AuctionMethod platform. So that's the second point, right? Is there's the possibility of delivering hardwired integrated AI, and then there's this possibility of having an open-ended engine as well, give you access to that. We'll go over all of this. And then, of course, I want to talk about and show some proof of concept applications that I've built using our API, just to show you, just to give you some idea, just to get the juices, sort of the creative juices flowing for you. So, Um, one thing to point out is that um, AuctionMethod already is has developed integrated AI powered tools, and these are already working on select sites. So these AI powered tools are primarily they've been ordered by customers who use our custom solutions program, which provides access to our entire dev team so that we can build these bespoke solutions. And so those customers, not all of them, but some of them have ordered up changes that use AI functionality to improve search results, to enrich their catalogs, and to create listings, to, to create accurate and complete listings. And so we already have created some of these integrated solutions. And we have some experience with it, right? So we're actually looking at that's why our vision is changing, I guess is the point, right? Is that given our experience with integrating different AI tools in the back end primarily, we believe that there's a better way to move forward, and that is to retain some flexibility. The problem with hardwiring artificial intelligence into the system is that it's incredibly limiting. One of the problems is that you typically have to choose between different models, whether you're going with something by OpenAI like ChatGPT, or you want to use Anthropic's Claude, or you want to use Google's Gemini, or you want to use Grok, or you name it. You've heard of all of these names, and of course, within each brand, each flavor of AI, there's different models that do different things, and it can be quite tricky given how fast everything's moving. And when I say everything's moving fast, I don't mean just the technology. I'm talking about the companies themselves and what they're capable of, and what they're delivering, and what they're charging. There's the political landscape seems to be impacting these companies. You may have heard about the drama, right, with the US government and Anthropic and ChatGPT and all this. And so the landscape itself is shifting rapidly. And one of the problems with hardwiring a particular solution into the auction platform is that it's possible that something that is affordable now or useful right now would somehow become less useful, right? Because there seems to be this pattern of um, AI companies providing really powerful tools and then essentially it's called nerfing them, scaling them back a little bit without saying anything. So they give you kind of the full, like let you taste the full thing, and then they scale it back because it's so expensive to run those powerful tools. Or they just charge you a lot more money once you've committed to them. So anyway, that's why we think that it's really important. There's a role, by the way. I think there's a role for hardwiring artificial intelligence into the system. Um, Even when it's hardwired, it should remain as flexible as possible. But I do believe that there's a better way than simply hardwiring this AI. So what we're going over now, this better way, this API service layer, that's what we call it. Again, application programming interface, a way for computer programs to talk to each other. And so the API service layer, what it does is it makes the entire software application, everything on the front end, everything on the back end, all the data, all the functionality, all everything that's there. It provides a structured way for other applications to communicate with the program. So our API, the AuctionMethod API, the idea behind that is that it will be providing this structured access to auction information about the lots themselves, right? Pictures of the lots, descriptions of the lots, bid history, making bids, like doing interacting with the lot. It's not just about the information, right? It's about all of the functionality and the data. This API would be able to provide access to consignor records, consignor statements, the bidder information, adding, editing, updating bidder information, placing bids, retracting bids, that kind of thing. Uh, Bidder invoices, right? So there's a lot of information contained on these invoices, and it's already a very rich feature of the auction method platform. But there may be things that you'd like to do beyond just processing the invoices. And so, by providing structured access to invoicing and payments and refunds and all of that, it would allow you to become more efficient at what you do and to adopt a workflow or have a workflow that really meets your needs. What you can see here is that the direction that we're headed is to actually provide everyone, regardless of what plan they're on with us, the ability to have a bespoke auction solution. So the idea is to liberate the technology and to not limit our customers to only working with Auction Method and Auction Method's development team. We're going to continue to provide those services, but we really want our customers to be empowered to build technology that works for themselves, to work with other vendors, other companies. There are so many clever, gifted, talented people who really understand technology and can provide meaningful assistance to auctioneers and to auction platforms. And they don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? We've been around for a long time. We know how auction processes work. If we can provide unfettered access to all of the functionality and data that is one of these auction method platforms, the sky is the limit, right? There's no basically if you can think it, you'll be able to build it. And so we really, really, really want to open up the entire engine so that our team, your team, somebody that we neither one of us knows yet will be able to use this API to accomplish all kinds of cool stuff that we haven't even dreamed of yet. So I guess I already tackled this one, right? The idea here then is that you can add modules to the auction method platform. So you can imagine if you've ever used WordPress or any other sort of SaaS solution like that, there's oftentimes like plugins, add-ons that are these discrete modules. They're like a completely different application that hooks into the other application, right? So um, that's what you'll be able to build with this new API service layer is you'll be able to anybody again, auction method can do this. I could do it. You could do it. Your developers could do it. Your kid could do it. Your AI assistant could do it. And that is to build these various sort of modules that do exactly what you want them to do. And I'll give you some examples moving forward. In fact, here's the very first example. So one thing I want to point out here is I even though I started an auction software development company and built an online auction tool way back when was that? Late 90s, early 2000s. I'm not a programmer. I've never been a programmer. I know how to hack my way through code and make things work. But as my computer sciences teacher in high school told me, he's like, Daniel, you get the job done, but there's nothing elegant about your solutions. Uh, Thankfully, at Auction Method, we have a whole team of very, very capable, very gifted software developers who do create very elegant solutions and know what they're doing. And I have the pleasure of working with them and making their services available to the auction industry. But my point is that these three applications that I'm going to show you or talk to you about they were built by me and an AI tool. Um, I did not use our software development team at all for any of this. This was just me and an AI chatbot, basically, for lack of a better description. So so what I'm going to show you is these are proofs of concept. There, I'm not trying to build myself a complete application that does all the things and then offer it to our clients, right? I'm a sales guy. That's not really like my job. I like doing it and I like playing with these things, but my goal here is to inspire you to think of what you would want, and then you can work with us, you can work with somebody else to make your dreams come true using this new API service layer from AuctionMethod. So before I go into all of the applications themselves, where we stand right now is that the API service layer actually already exists. Currently, it's primarily limited to objects related to auctions, meaning auctions and lots, right? So things like pictures and descriptions and bids and things like that. It's not yet set up. It will be soon, but it's not yet set up to access like bidder records and payments and invoicing and all of that. A lot of this API functionality already exists. In fact, much of our existing software is already powered by API. Um, but the biggest issue has been documentation, making the documentation around the API human understandable or readable by humans. The nice thing is as it sits right now, I can hand that API, what I do have, I can hand it over to an AI tool and it can understand it just fine. It's the humans who have a hard time understanding it. So that's been a thing that has slowed us down, but it hasn't slowed us down from working with the API ourselves. And some of our customers, the folks who have custom solutions already have API access, and many of them have what are called custom API calls to do very specific things for their businesses. So if you're a custom solutions customer of ours, you may already be familiar with Auction Method's API, how it works. So the very first proof of concept that I want to show you is a simple tool called the auction lot enricher. So the way that this application works is it in the evening at nighttime, it goes in and or during your non-working hours, whatever that is, it goes in and it grabs all of the lots from auctions that it has not yet reviewed. And then it goes through and it just looks at all the pictures, all of your titles, all of your descriptions, and enriches the catalog. And what it's doing is it's providing enhanced titles, uh, enhanced descriptions. It's suggesting the value, so it's doing research. What's this thing worth? It provides research notes that you, a human being, can evaluate, and it shows you the sources that it used for its information. The idea being that, one of the biggest problems with AI in this space of creating auction listings or enriching the listings is that it's not always right. And auctioneers really cannot afford to misrepresent items. If you get known for misrepresenting items, even if it's with the best of intentions and the best AI tools out there, the humans who are buying from you are going to be irritated and they're not going to trust you. So it's really important in all of this. You might hear me say this a few times that the the expertise of the humans involved in the auction industry it's not going away. We still need the humans involved, at least for now. And so the idea behind this enricher is that it just sits there and it does this in the background. It does it during sort of non-peak hours so that your auction site's kind of quiet, and also because the cost of the AI tools goes down when it's not busy. So it just sits there and kind of slowly just looks over all of your catalogs, all your pictures, everything, and is sort of evaluating it and trying to see where it can improve things. What I'm showing you here is for this old espresso machine. Is actually my espresso machine. It's right behind me here. Well, you can't see it because I have this. Yeah, I think there's a weird little background on me, but I have this is an espresso machine for my home. I use it every day. So I was doing a trial run of this auction lot enricher, and I just went around with my phone and used the Auctioneer Toolbox mobile cataloging app. Hopefully you've had a chance to use it, but I just used it, went around and I took pictures of things around my house to see how this lot enrichment tool would work. And so here's, as you can see, a picture of the old espresso machine. I, for the title, I did what a lot of auctioneers do. I kind of just, I half-assed it. And I just said it was a coffee machine. I didn't say it was an espresso machine. I didn't tell it make, model, nothing at all. I just said coffee machine. And here's the pictures. And then what it ended up delivering was a title, and it was accurate. It's a high brew H10 series semi-automatic espresso machine with steam wand. And then it went on to create a comprehensive description um, of the thing, and it gave me some notes. So it said, for example, and this is where you can see, an AI tool maybe not being 100% accurate when it comes to creating auction lots. It accurately identified the machine, but it thought that there were two of them because I had taken multiple pictures from different angles and it wasn't entirely clear that it was all just one machine. Those are minor things. There's ways of fixing that through the prompts and whatnot, but it's always going to make some mistakes. So the idea being that, so it created all of this information for me, told me what it thought it was worth, gave me these research notes, and I could look at it and be like, oh, it's just one. I know it's one machine, and so it was very easy for me to modify the listing and then just push it. So after the review process, I just push a button and it updates the auction catalog automatically, right? So then I go into the auction and it's done, right? All of the, like I didn't have to download a file. I didn't have to copy and paste. I didn't have to anything. I just reviewed it, said, yep, that looks good, maybe made a few tweaks, hit push. It pushes it back to the auction platform. And I can do that in batch mode as well. I had thought about maybe in this webinar doing a screen share, and I might of one of the applications, but they're not super exciting to look at. But they're incredibly powerful tools that are incredibly well thought out. And that's not thanks to me, it's thanks to the AI tools that build them in the first place. So basically, all I did was I handed the API over to one of the AI tools. I think it was Claude in this case. And I said, hey, I want you to build an auction lot enricher, and here's like, maybe a few things that I think it should do and how it should work. Literally, just like maybe a paragraph. Maybe a paragraph. I hit go, and then, at the maybe it was like about 45 minutes, maybe an hour later, I had a fully functioning program that worked. And again, I didn't do any code. I didn't do anything. I'm not that smart. So it was a really cool experience to see the API at work like this without having to even talk to my development team. And you will be able to do this too. You'll be able to, you and, maybe you have kids who are in high school or whatever, they'll be able to do this too. So that's one example. The next one, I was like, well, all right, what else, what other kinds of activities would be beneficial in terms of auctioneers' workflows? Well, creating marketing content is vital, right? Like you got to be able to create social media posts and flyers and newsletters and all of that. And that is tedious. Even if you're using AI tools, if you're having to go into an auction and copy and paste and download pictures and upload pictures and all of that, it takes a lot of time. Especially if you're busy on all fronts, right? If you have social media management stuff that's going on and you're sending out newsletters and you're printing flyers and all of that, it just takes a decent amount of time to create this kind of stuff. Most of you, if you are engaged in any kind of media creation around marketing, most of you will be familiar with a platform called Canva. Canva is an amazing tool for creating all kinds of media, whether you're talking about videos or pictures or flyers or whatever. And they have an API. And so I took their API and our API, dropped them into my little friendly tool, and I said, hey, I would really love to be able to just tell you which auctions and which items I'm interested in promoting. And I want you to just generate all my social media content, or I want you to create my newsletter or flyer or postcard or whatever. And so, again, about 30, 45 minutes later, I had a fully working application that was capable of showing me all the auctions and all of the items and allowing me to sort of pick and choose what it was I was interested in promoting. Then I just push a button and boom, I get something like this. So I think in this case, I said I wanted an Instagram post for this test auction. You can see the items actually here. Here's that espresso machine that I had taken. Here's my meditation cushion, my cat, a mug, and a minivan, right? So in all of these cases, I just said like coffee machine, cushion, cat, cup, van. And it did this. First, the other tool went through and updated it all, right? And one of the funny things, I actually have to point this out because I thought it was hilarious, is the AI tool refused to create a listing for the cat. It wasn't that it wasn't possible. It in the research notes, it identified everything about the cat, like what kind of a cat it was, roughly how old it was, whatever. It put all kinds of information in there. And then it said the legal restrictions around selling live animals at auction are pretty severe, and you should probably rethink this or something like that. I thought it was funny. It surprised me. It's okay. I'm not selling my cat. I love her, and we'll keep her around for a while. But so she's not up for bid, actually. Although if you want that old minivan, it's got like 200 some odd thousand miles on it. You can have it. Anyway, this was a really cool tool, right? Like again, I just took Canva's API, our API, put them together. I didn't even have to read them. I didn't even look at them. In fact, I actually didn't even download the Canva API. The AI tool went and looked it up and came back to me and was like, oh, okay, this is how I'm going to build it out. And there you go. Now I have a tool that instantly, or dang near instantly, generates all kinds of marketing content for me. I don't have to go in and do anything. And, if it's married to Canva like this, it'll even follow my brand guidelines, use the colors and fonts and, aesthetics that my brand kit allows for. I thought this one was kind of fun and it was easy. Uh, but we're actually getting to my absolute favorite. Okay. The bid is right. This is a game that I've been dreaming of for maybe 10 years now. And I've so badly wanted to create this game. And it's one of those ideas that never went away. Like it just kept coming up. And I've begged our team to consider building it over the years, but our customers are always come first and I'm always last. And so I didn't get my game. So when the API became available, I said, "Hey, I want to build this game." And I did. And it's super cool. So the bid is right game, the way that this works is the idea is that this could work across multiple auction companies, but any auction company could just point this at their own auction site and they'd have this game. The idea behind the game is that it's a price prediction game. So it's a way for just imagine your bidders or anybody who is interested in stuff, whatever it is, that the kind of stuff that you sell. Maybe you're into antiques or Beanie Babies or classic cars or whatever it is, you can try your hand at being an appraiser, at valuing these items. And so the idea is that you come in and as a user, as a game player, and yeah, you sign up and then you get in there and it's like, all right, you can do all the things that you would normally do with an auction. You can search, you can browse, you can filter, you can select certain categories, you can select certain auctions. You can see all the information that you would see on the auction platform, pictures and descriptions and all of that good stuff. And so, as you can see, by gamifying the experience, you actually are providing a different way for users to engage with your content. See, normally at an auction, buyers show up and they are looking for what they're looking for, and they don't really want to see everything else that you're selling, which is problematic because auctioneers want their potential buyers to see everything, right? But the bidder's not, it doesn't have enough incentive. They just are looking for what they're looking for. But if they're just playing a game, then they're going to see more than they would go looking for, right? Like they might see something and be like, oh yeah, I'll guess on that one, right? There's no cost, there's no harm in guessing, right? So the game has like this. I think I'll show it to you here in a second. It has this way of like a countdown timer where it'll like go through really fast, like guess this item, guess the price on that one. So basically, the user's sitting there guessing prices on all of these different items, and then once the auction's over, they reveal the results, right? And then the leaderboard changes, and people become winners and losers and all the usual things. People get points and recognition for being, really good at appraising, all the usual things that you would see in a game, right? Like people get badges and points and are happy because they did a good job. So once the auction's over, they get this feedback about how they performed and how they're guessing compared to the actual results. And then the other side of it, the flip side of it, is the auctioneer can log in to the back end and they get information about the price estimates and some information, some market data about the bidders themselves, like the people who are looking at it, like how many people are browsing and who are they and who's doing the guessing, and information about the players themselves. So the players may or may not be potential buyers, but they are still valuable because they're somewhat interested in the stuff that you're selling. But to me, the price estimates are really valuable. So you can actually imagine that previous tool that I was talking about, the auction enrichment tool. Yeah, it does some Google research or whatever it does, right? And it finds out a range. For example, that espresso machine is worth between 120 and $180 on the used market, something like that. Well, if that same espresso machine is here in the game, and people are guessing that it's going to sell for 60, 70, $80, you can take that information about what real humans think the thing is worth. And mind you, they're not bidding, so there's no incentive. Like they're trying to get the price right. And so there's no incentive for them to undervalue. So if you were to take what the humans are thinking it might be worth, and you also see what the AI research indicates it's worth, you're going to be in a good place of kind of understanding a ballpark estimate of what your auction total is worth. And that can be really, really helpful from much more than just sort of a curiosity. Knowing what your auction is worth allows you to develop a marketing budget, for example. You can know how much you yourself can expect to earn from that auction. There's a lot of helpful reasons why you might want to do that. And let's see if I can, let's see if it's possible for me to. Mm, you know what? I think I actually, if you want to see the game, okay, this is my hook. So if you want to see the game, meet me for a demo. Right? Send me an email, daniel@auctionmethod.com. I've got a video actually of it, of me playing the game. Um, I'm not even smart enough to show you how to present my screen in a way that's helpful. The point is that if somebody like me can do this kind of thing using the API service layer, you can too. But anyway, if you want to see the game, or maybe try your hand at playing it, shoot me a message and I'd be happy to hook you up. But this is my favorite of all time. So these are the three apps that I created as a proof of concept. Altogether, all three of these together, maybe 3 to 4 hours of my time to get them to actually working. I think that part's really cool because to create, if I had hired our own dev team to do this, it probably would have taken, oh my goodness, this game alone probably would have taken maybe like 100 plus hours of developer time. And it would take a lot of iterations, a lot of back and forth between the developers and the testers and myself, and then go back to like all of that. So it's amazing to me that you can take something that used to take like 100 to 200 hours of development, which is expensive as well. It's not just talking about the time, and you can condense that into maybe an hour or two, right? Amazing. All right, so we're kind of getting near the end here of the presentation. I did want to point out again, though, that it's my firm belief that AI is not going to be replacing humans per se, not within the auction industry, but they are going to be taking over some of the duties so that the humans can be put to better use. And part of it is really, what you have as an auction professional is this expertise. You understand the market, you understand what you're selling, you know the seller, you know their needs. And that uniquely human factor is incredibly valuable still. The idea is to use these AI tools, this API service layer, and all these new, these modules that are built by us or by you or whoever to free you from the drudgery, from the difficulty of, for example, having to go and create different Canva, graphics and things like that, right? If you can do all of that, super easy, and you can have high quality auction listings and all of that without you having to spend a lot of time on it, then you can improve the quality of your work and your relationships within your marketplace, which is again uniquely human, the relationships between you and the sellers and the buyers. So, um, let's see here. What's this? Yeah, actually, so I think I've made this point already, but I do think that it's worth reiterating that auction method recognizes that we are not the only auction software or auction technology group out there. And we're also not the only technologists. We're not the only developers. There are so many talented, creative people and tools, even AI tools out there that are capable of creating the technology that you need that's uniquely your need, right? Your business flow, your creativity, your ideas about delivering on that so that you can have the auction marketplace and the business that you want that works for you, your sellers, your buyers. And so the idea behind this API service layer is one of empowerment and of liberation, right? We want to actually free you from all of these constraints that exist, including constraints of having to work with auction method to develop your solutions. We recognize it takes time and costs money to work with humans. That's what I was just saying. Even for me, it takes a lot of time and money to get my ideas out there, and it does for our customers as well. And so now that we have all these wonderful AI tools out there, the idea is like let's give them the engine, the auction engine, so that they can really, really put it to work in ways that we've never even imagined before. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I look forward to seeing what our customers build, seeing what we build on top of this API service layer. So that's it. I think I'll stop now. Although I do want to say that if you like this webinar, you probably would enjoy subscribing to our blog, and a shameless personal, professional plug to follow me on LinkedIn if you don't already. So I'll stop the presentation there, and I'll do a quick look in the Q&A section to see if anybody had any questions. Oh, good. So I don't see any open questions in there. So if you do have questions or you're curious to talk more about this and what it means for you, when it's going to be available to you, all of that good stuff, shoot me an email, daniel@auctionmethod.com. I'll gladly help you with whatever I can. And if you want to take a look at that appraisal game, I'll show it off. I'm super proud of it, super happy. All right, with that in mind, thank you all for spending this time with me and sharing your Friday with me. and I will see you at the next webinar a month from now. Take care, everybody.